When you look at an ancient symbol, do you ever see more than just art? I mean, what if its very geometry was a kind of blueprint, a schematic that actually dictates its function, its entire philosophy? Well, today we're going to dive into one of the most elegant examples out there, the seal of the great Duke Barbatos.
And that brings us to the big question for this whole explainer. When we look at these ancient designs, are we seeing a prison? A set of metaphysical bars built to trap and command some powerful entity? Or are we seeing something else entirely, like an invitation to a conversation? This is the fundamental split we're going to explore.
So to really get why the seal of Barbatos is so different, we have to look at let's say, the standard approach first. It's a design principle that's all about power and containment. Let's just call it the philosophy of the cage.
Yeah, the intent here is everything. In a lot of traditional goetic seals, these are the symbols used in Solomonic magic, that thick, heavy border around the outside isn't just for decoration. Oh no, it's a fortress. It's a metaphysical wall designed for one purpose: to confine, contain, and control the spirit being called upon.
So we can pretty much define this as a closed seal. The whole idea behind it is a one-way street of power. It's all about command and control, where the practitioner basically forces an entity into a box and dictates the terms.
But what if there's another way to do things? And this is where the seal of Barbatos comes in, because it is a radical, total departure from that model. This isn't about building a cage. It's about creating an architecture for dialogue.
Just look at the design for a second. What's the very first thing that jumps out at you? It's what isn't there. See? There's no heavy, containing circle. The whole thing is open. It's permeable. And trust me, that is not just an artistic choice. It's a massive philosophical statement about how to engage with this kind of power.
This open structure is making a huge statement. It's basically symbolizing a willingness to communicate. It suggests a flow of dialogue, not a cage of command. It visually screams freedom, what the source material even calls the breath of nature. And this lines up perfectly with Barbatos' reputation as a diplomat and a reconciler, not some adversary you have to wrestle with.
Okay, so if it's not a cage for trapping something, then what in the world is it? How does this architecture of dialogue actually work? Well, the answer is in the little details of the seal, which act less like a prison and more like a really sophisticated sensory network.
30. Remember that number, because it's the key to understanding how this whole thing functions. Barbatos, they say, commands 30 legions of spirits. So how does one little geometric design manage a force that big?
The answer is right there at the edges of the design. You see those small circles at the ends of the horizontal lines? Those are called terminal orbs. And believe me, they are so much more than just little decorative dots. They are the functional nodes of this entire spiritual system.
These orbs have this really fascinating dual function. On one hand, they act as spirit houses, kind of like anchor points for the energies of all 30 of those legions. But their second job is what makes this design so brilliant. They're also environmental sensors. They are the seal's direct connection to the physical world. They're its eyes and ears.
So what do you get when you have 30 legions worth of sensors spread all across the environment? You get a state of total environmental awareness. This is the metaphysical how behind Barbatos' most famous power, the ability to understand what birds and other animals are saying. He's not just listening from one spot, his whole network is listening from everywhere at once.
And suddenly it clicks, right? The seal isn't a symbol of confinement at all. It's a map of a network. It's a literal circuit diagram of an active, interconnected system that's constantly listening, sensing, and communicating, just like the web of life itself.
So this leaves us with two completely different models, two opposing philosophies, both encoded in simple geometry. And it kind of presents us with a choice, doesn't it? When we approach things, are we looking for control or are we looking for connection?
And here we can see the two paths laid out, side by side. You've got the cage, the closed seals. Its philosophy is command. Its goal is to trap a spirit. Its method is confinement. The whole thing just symbolizes control. But then you have the network of Barbatos' seal. Its philosophy is dialogue. Its goal is to exchange information. Its method? Connection. It doesn't symbolize control. It symbolizes understanding.
And so that's what we're left with. We've seen how the shape of a symbol can literally dictate its purpose. A closed circle becomes a cage, while an open network becomes a conversation. It really makes you wonder, right? What about the structures we build in our own world? Our companies, our online communities, our friendships? What does their design say about us? Are we building cages, or are we building networks?